ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे रामा हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे। In Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela in Jagannath Puri, we have one powerful character called Pratap Rudra, King Pratap Rudra. And King Pratap Rudra was a great devotee of the Lord. He was the son of Purushottam Jena, the previous king of Gajapati Jagannath Puri. And Jagannath Puri, he is the first custodian of Jagannath Puri Mandir. That means he controls the whole Jagannath Puri temple activities. He is a custodian. So naturally, he was the one who hosted all the devotees who came from Bengal. He also gave accommodation to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. He arranged accommodation for Paramananda Puri, Paramananda Bharati, Advaita Acharya, Srivas Acharya, Srivas Pandit, Swarup Damodar Goswami, Brahmananda Bharati, you name them, all the stalwarts who were the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He gave accommodation, he arranged for their food. And in turn, not in turn in one sense, he just wanted to meet Chaitanya. That's all. He didn't have any great expectation, but he thought, well, let me have an audience. So you talked about Sharanagati, right? But the first request, he was denied. And that too, apparently, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu harshly denied it, not politely. He said, I just cannot meet a worldly person. I cannot meet a person who keeps women and wealth with him. I am a sannyasi. I don't want to meet a person. I cannot associate with a kingly, opulent personality. So it was quite a harsh response. And he is the one who is hosting everybody, including Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then, first time, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya requested, it was denied. Then Lord Nityananda Prabhu came and requested. Again he denied. Then Ramananda Rai came and he glorified King Pratap Rudra and even told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that I want to resign from governor's post of South India, Kavur, and I want to join you full time. So I came to Jagannath Puri to give my resignation. And I told, King asked me, why are you resigning? What is the reason? And I told the king that I want to serve Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is now residing in Puri. So I can't stay in Kovur and serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or be with him. And he also told what happened in Kovur. And interesting to know that Rai Ramananda was working under the rule of King Prataprudra. So he was servant of King Prataprudra on salary. So he came to give resignation in Puri. And then what happened? When the king heard the reason behind resigning. So the king said that you are so fortunate. Lord met you, Lord embraced you, Lord talked to you so many days, discussed the highest philosophy, and Lord wants to accept you in his entourage. And here I am. The Lord is rejecting me. So, Rai Ramananda, I give you full salary. You resign, you don't work. but still I pay you because you are so fortunate. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is accepting you as your servant in his entourage. And then he told this to, I mean, he was accepted and his salary was continued. And he came back to Lord Chaitanya because he understood my king wants to meet him and he is denied the meeting. So he glorified King Prataprudra and told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that my king has given me full permission to be with you and with full salary even if I'm not working in Kobur. The Lord Chaitanya's heart was softened, but he still denied the meeting for King Prataprudra. He still continued and maintained his stance. But he said that one who has pleased you, a devotee like you, served you, soon Krishna will be very merciful upon you. But externally he said, I will not meet the king. Please don't ask me again. So you can imagine that king, after doing so much good service, he was still denied. So what was lacking was, at one point of time, the king came to a realization that just because I am a king, I am opulent, I have power, I have wealth, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is rejecting to meet me. So what is the use of remaining a king, I have to continue to remain a king. What is the use of that? Let me give up my kingdom. Let me give up my position as a king. Let me become a beggar and I will go to beg at the house of Shudras for some food rather than being a king and being not eligible to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I'm sure if I become a beggar, I give up my position of opulence and wealth and power, I will be able to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, hopefully. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is openly saying that king is opulent, having a lot of wealth. So you can imagine, this also news went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sarvabhauma went and told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now the king wants to give up his king's position. Now what happened? At that time, Mahaprabhu said that, please bring his son. So his son was brought. And the son came in yellow dress. The son came in yellow dress. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remembered Sri Krishna. And in that memory of Sri Krishna, he embraced the son so tightly and shed tears of love and blessed him like anything. All the love of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart was transferred in the heart of this boy. And then what happened? The boy went back and told father everything. And King Prataprudra embraced his son, who was recently, just few minutes back, was embraced by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he felt the embrace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But still, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued to say, I will not meet the king. So you can imagine, Prabhuji, no, you are not admitting people.
I admitted, Prabhuji. I think some difficulties in our internet.
Okay. So, finally, Sarvabhauma told him that now you come to Rath Yatra and then don't come in the king's dress as usual. Because you are supposed to be always coming in a king's dress as a king, as the main servant of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Jagannath in Chera Pahara, the sweeping of the street and the chariots. So, at that time, there was a plan how he will meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Jagannath Vallabha garden. He went there as an ordinary mendicant, ordinary Vaishnava with white cotton dhoti and chadar. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to take rest in between the Rath Yatra, when the Bhoga came, when Lord Jagannath was accepting Bhoga, Jagannath was busy. So devotees told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please go and take rest in Jagannath Vallabh garden. So in extreme tiredness and ecstasy of love, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went and lay down in the garden. At that time, on the instruction and suggestion of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, the Rajguru, the king started massaging the feet of the Lord and started reciting Gopi Geet as per the instruction of Sarvabhauma. He recited with so much of love and affection that Mahaprabhu, at the end of the Gopi Geet, recited by the king Pratap Rudra, he woke up and asked, who are you? You are so fortunate. Who are you? At that time, the king said, I am the servant of all the Vaishnavas. He did not say that I am King Pratap Rudra. I have been asking you to meet me. I mean, give me appointment, and you have been denying. I am the same king who has made provisions for all of you to stay and have prasad here. He said, I am the servant of all the devotees. Then Lord Chaitanya embraced him. Lord Chaitanya also did not make him feel that I have recognized you as the king. Lord Chaitanya maintained his ignorance about the king's being king. And thus, finally, the king received the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So, this is Sharanagati. Sharanagati means accepting the situations as they are. Sharanagati has 6 dimensions. One is to accept things which are favorable for bhakti. Another is to reject things which are unfavorable for bhakti. Third thing is to have implicit faith that the Lord will protect me. Fourth thing is accepting things as they are, not struggling with them. Whatever comes in life, just accept them as the desire of the Lord, as the mercy of the Lord, as the plan, as the customized plan for myself. So this is how there was progress in the consciousness of King Pratap Rudra. It was not that he was proud of being king or he was attached to being king. But even though he was a king, he understood that he was denied the appointment with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. While his servant Ramananda Rai was given the appointment, everybody else in Jagannath Puri, whoever wanted to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were allowed to meet except the king. So in one sense, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was smashing his ego. Being the topmost citizen of Jagannath Puri, the first citizen of Jagannath Puri, the custodian of Jagannath Puri temple, Lord Chaitanya was crushing his ego. And he accepted it. He never got angry. Why he is denying me? Am I not serving the devotees? Am I not giving them accommodation? Am I not providing for their food? Am I not providing servants for them to take care of their needs? I've arranged everything. Why not meeting with me? That was ego, but he didn't say that. He kept on pleading, he kept on trying, kept on requesting, kept on sending requests. But at the same time, as a king, he was not arrogant enough to impose himself on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He could have said, I am a king. I am walking now. Please come with me. I am entering the house of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which I only have arranged for him to stay. No, he respected the dignity of the guest. He did not trespass the boundaries of etiquette, even though he was king. So he exhibited highest Sharanagati. And to that highest Sharanagati, finally, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu responded and met him and gave his mercy to him. Another way which Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually gave mercy to him was because he was serving the Vaishnavas. He served all the Vaishnavas, he provided them accommodations, he gave full salary to Ramananda Rai. So Mahaprabhu already said that because he is serving the devotees, soon Krishna will be merciful on him. And when the child came, also he said to the child, I am very grateful to you, O child. You are reminding me of Krishna. Anybody who reminds us of Krishna, we have to be extremely grateful to him. You reminded me of Krishna, so I am grateful to you. So like that, there's one more story is then in Champahati in Navadvip, where Jayadev Goswami was living with his wife Padmavati, and they were worshipping Radha Madhav, the champa flowers of the Champahati area. And he wrote Dashavatar Stotra. And Dashavatar Stotra came in the hands of the local king called Lakshman Sena. And Lakshman Sen, when he read the Dashavatar Stotra, he understood the greatness of the saint Jayadev Goswami. So he came running to the hut of Jayadev Goswami and sent a message that I want to meet you. And Jayadev Goswami immediately, very strongly denied that I cannot meet a worldly king. If ever you give me another request, I will leave Champahati and go. Lord Chaitanya also had told same thing to Sarvabhauma. If you again come to me with the same request, I will leave Jagannath Puri not to be seen again for all of you. I will leave you forever. The Jayadev Goswami also sent a message that I am denying the meeting with you, I don't want to meet you, and you again attempt to meet me, I will leave this place and go. Because this happens to be in your territory and you are trying to meet me, so I will leave. So then Lakshman Sen met his Rajguru and asked him, what should I do? At that time, the Rajguru told him that you give up your crown, you give up your kingly dress, you wear cotton, simple, single dhoti and chadar, and go to him as a Vaishnava and fall at his feet. Give up your kingly position, don't approach him as a king. Approach him as a simple Vaishnava. So Lakshman Sen went as a humble devotee wearing white dhoti, simple dhoti, and bowed down to Jayadev Goswami and said, please accept my obeisances. Actually, Jayadev Goswami knew that he is a king, but he was very pleased with the humility of the king. That means the king Lakshman Sen had to give up his position of king. Even the attachment of being a king, the position, he was still a king, but he gave up the attachment to his position as a king and presented himself as an ordinary Vaishnava, simple Vaishnava. And that pleased Jayadev Goswami, and Jayadev Goswami accepted that the king had one request, that why are you staying in such a small hut? You come to my palace and stay and write your books and write everything because I am very impressed with your writing. So why are you staying here in the very jungle in a secluded place? You come in my palace. If you don't want to stay in my palace, I will build a nice house for you instead of staying in a hut. So then at this time he said, how can I serve you? So Jayadev said, yeah, I know that you want to build a house for me. So please build a house for me. So then the king built the house in Champahati where Jayadev Goswami accepted and stayed. So the point I am trying to say is the great devotees of the Lord or the Lord himself. They may test us. They may put a difficult condition for us, which we will not generally like to be in. But if we are a devotee, then we understand that these things which are supposedly unpleasant are actually the arrangement of the Lord to test our faith, to test our devotion, and we accept that gracefully and bow down and become humble and thus accept the mercy of the Lord. So this is what I thought in short. Sharanagati means. Like another aspect of Sharanagati is Prahlad Maharaj. In the whole Bhagavatam, there are so many prayers. Kunti is praying for Krishna. Gajendra is praying to Krishna. And who is not praying? There are so many prayers. Brahma praying to Krishna, Prachetas praying to Lord Shiva, then praying to Krishna. So many prayers are there in that. Brahma afterwards praying to Krishna again for in repentance after he stole the cows, baby cows. But if you read the whole Bhagavatam, you will never find Prahlad offering prayers. Please protect me, please save me, Trahimam, Trahimam. You will not find in that. So the question was asked why Prahlad never asked for anything. Even protection, the torture that he underwent was the highest of all the devotees. So answer was given that he has complete faith in Krishna. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna. Rakshishyati iti Vishwasu. He will protect me. I don't have to ask for protection. If I'm his devotee, if I'm chanting his name, I don't have to ask for him to protect me. He knows. He knows everything. I also understand that he's protecting me. That all the people are trying to stab me with the weapons and weapons are not being effective on me. I was put in the pit of snakes and the snakes did not bite me. I was put under the feet of elephant, but the elephant did not put his foot on me. I was thrown off the cliff, but the Lord came and caught me. I was tried to be burnt, but the person who was trying to burn me got burnt and I was saved. So he was understanding that my Lord is protecting me. That is why, because of his unprecedented surrender in the sense of having unlimited faith in Krishna's protection and no need to ask for protection. Only his charitra, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was hearing hundreds of times in Jagannath Puri. Hundreds of times. When Gadadhar Pandit would recite the charitra of Prahlad Maharaj, immediately at the end of the Prahlad Charitra, Lord Chaitanya would say it again, chant again, tell me again, read again. And thus Gadadhar Pandit would start reciting Prahlad Charitra again. Why? Because he had that exclusive quality of unlimited trust in Krishna to the extent of feeling no need to ask for any protection. And he was so surrendered to Lord, he was undergoing atrocities which nobody has ever undergone. In the history of creation, nobody is as tortured as Prahlad Maharaj. Nobody can compare what Prahlad went through. But he never asked for protection. So he's the topmost in the kind of torture that he went through. And that too being a small child. That is why he is in Bhakta Charitra, in Bhagavata, in Srimad Bhagavat, in Bhakta Charitras, the Prahlad Charitra is supposed to be the highest Charitra. The topmost Bhakta Shiromani of Bhagavatam is Prahlad Maharaj. Of course, he is not in the rank of Brajvasis, but amongst all the devotees in ninth cantos, Prahlad Charitra is the highest Charitra. Rakshishyati iti Vishwas. So, what is the characteristic of surrender? Then whatever happens in our life, or individually, of course, and whatever is happening around all of us, in which I am also affected, or apparently the effect is on me also. Anything that is happening in our life, it may be pleasant, it may not be pleasant, it may appear favorable, it may not appear favorable, it may sound good or it may not sound good, but we accept it in the faith that this is ordained by the Lord and Lord cannot do anything that is bad for me. This internal feeling that the devotee has, this particular approach that the devotee has towards anything in life, even though good things happen, the devotee feels that, yes, this is for this is the Lord's arrangement for me. I don't have to get proud. The Lord wants me to be successful, so I am successful. And not getting elated when the success comes. That is also the sign of surrender. That I don't identify with the success and nor I get elated or exhilarated with the success. And when something unpleasant happens or a failure happens, the things that I don't like to be in, that situation comes in, we accept that this is my Lord who is sending the situation to my life, and whatever he is sending, it has to be good for me, otherwise he will not send it to me. I cannot go through any situation in life which is not good for me, because my Lord is directing the events in my life. When such surrender we exhibit, and surrender is not physical, surrender is always spiritual, surrender is in consciousness. It is quite subtle, the way we look at things in life. In such situation of surrender, then the Lord does not give us benedictions anymore. I repeat my statement. In such a surrender situation, Lord does not give any more benedictions to us. What does the Lord do? Lord offers himself to us. When we receive any benediction from the Lord, what does that mean? They are Lord's benedictions. Lord is the source of that benedictions. He is the source of all those blessings that we receive. And when he is giving blessing to us, he is giving his power of blessing to us. But there's a difference between receiving blessings and receiving the source of blessings altogether. And when now the Lord becomes yours, who is the source of all benedictions, all the wealth, all the opulences, all beauty, all knowledge, all power, all influence, everything, the source of all that becomes ours. And now he not only becomes ours, but he becomes our servant, the devotee's servant. He serves the devotees menially. So there is a great merit in accepting things as they are. When we accept things as they are, the way they are happening, according to Lord's will, first of all, that makes us very strong spiritually. Within us, we become extremely spiritually strong. We also become humble and very strong within, and then we receive the Lord in the end. So our usual reaction to unpleasant thing is we struggle with the things. We try to solve the situation. We try to change the situation. It was very unpleasant for us. We want to constantly do something to change the situations. But in the process, when we are trying to change the situations, what is happening? We become very unhappy. We become very displeased. We become very disturbed. And as disturbed we are, we sometimes become angry, sometimes become morose, sometimes become depressed. Sometimes we feel very sorry. Sometimes we feel very low in energy. Sometimes we feel discouraged. All these situations are the result of our unacceptance of the situations as they are. But when we accept the situations willfully as they are, we don't get disturbed by the vikaras, anger, greed, illusion, disappointment, displeasure, depression. All these things don't appear. So many devotees are there who went through so many difficulties, like Pandavas, but they never struggled with the situations. They accepted the situations as they are. That's why Lord felt obliged to go again and again to Pandavas, to give them solace, to give them association, to give them encouragement, to save them from the situations, to take them out of the situations. Sometimes incognito, sometimes revealing that they are still living, sometimes crying for them as if they are gone. So Lord went to Hastinapur and cried like anything in the big drama, while Pandavas were alive after the house of lack and fire. But he went and cried with a big drama. And then he welcomed them also, that they are alive. And then he became their messenger. So Lord was supporting them in all the situations which were ordained by the Lord only in their life. But have you ever heard Pandavas complain to the Lord, what is the use of becoming your devotee? See our life. You are here in the world while we are also here in the world. And we are your devotees. We are dedicated to you. And look at us. One after another, we are going through calamities. In your being present in the world, still we are undergoing. What kind of devotion is this? What is the use of being devotee of yours? They must never said that like that. Their love for the Lord, their relationship with the Lord were not disturbed because of the situations in their life. So there are unlimited examples, but one point we must understand that this surrender actually purchases the Lord. The Lord becomes the property of that devotee who is surrendered to him. The Lord offers himself to that devotee, becomes his property. Hare Krishna. So now you can ask questions if there are any questions. Just give me a minute, huh? Okay. I'm in Nigri temple in the Nigri media office, just trying to get some power for the laptop. Yes, if you have any questions, you can ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Uh, Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Regarding the point that you said, Prabhuji, when there is difficult situation in the life of devotees, uh, when Lord puts the devotees in such situation, there is Lord will not give the benediction, but Lord Himself He will uh, come to the life of devotees. So it seems interesting and encouraging also in different situations. Can we get some elaborate explanation, or some examples of
I
this?
gave you examples in my class, no? The same subject only.
Like in current situation, in the life of exalted devotees, that we can know the situation, but I couldn't compare this to the current situations.
I am talking about yourself or myself or individual devotee. In this situation currently going on, you are not directly responsible, but you are at the suffering end. You don't like the situation, or you feel it is not correct what's happening, and you feel why I'm supposed to be suffering in this, or how can I correct the situation like that. So I am trying to tell you how to accept the situation as the will of the Lord for my in my own spiritual life, in our own spiritual life. And we have to understand one thing, that when there is a unpleasant situation, I am not directly party to create that situation. I should try to correct the situation only if I am in authoritative position. If I am not having any authoritative position to do any corrective action, I should not do any corrective action. Sometimes we are not authorized or not eligible to do any corrective action, but we take the law in hand and start trying to correct the action, then we suffer the reaction of that. So if I am in authority position, then I should do all my best to correct the situation in my authority. If I am in authority and I'm not doing any corrective action, then there is a sin of omission, act of omission that I am supposed to do, but I'm not doing. If I don't do what I'm supposed to do, I undergo a reaction. But I do something when I'm not supposed to do, that also is a wrong activity. And then we suffer the complications of the wrong activity. So when we are not in a position to correct the situation, and the situation is not getting corrected also by somebody else also, right? We can only become transcendental and go above the situation and not remain at the level of situation. And how do we go above the situation? We simply take shelter of the holy name and the Leela of the Lord and try to be above the situation locally. We try to become transcendental. That is why when we are in difficulty or when we are in an unpleasant situation, we are supposed to be more absorbed in chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, more intently, and we are supposed to be more absorbed in hearing the Krishna Katha, Ram Katha, Gaur Katha, and Bhagavad Katha, Hari Katha. But usually, we don't do that. We immediately go to solve the situation in a local way or whatever practical way. We think this is more important than taking shelter of Krishna, and that in that process of urge, in the urge of correcting situation, we take sometimes authority in hand, which we are not supposed to, and the situation become more complicated. It is like you have fever, and people tell you to go to doctor, and you say, "I have fever, I can't go to doctor. I'm too sick to go to doctor." This is the irony. We laugh when we hear this, but most people are doing the same thing. The highest medicine we don't take when we are in difficulty. We try to take something lower or practical, so-called practical situation. In fact, I would always advise devotees and urge devotees, whenever there is a small difficulty or medium difficulty or a large difficulty or a very great difficulty, in all the variety of difficulty situations, one should first focus more on the holy name and hear the Leela of the Lord more than other times. Because when you are in that intense situation of chanting Hare Krishna and remain absorbed in the Katha of the Lord, you get transcendental vision or transcendental realization how to deal with the situation. And also you get spiritual strength to accept the situation as it is. Why we are reacting? Why we go and react? Because we don't accept the situation as it is. It's intolerable for us to accept it as it is. So we do our best to to change the situation. But when you take shelter of the holy name and Hari Katha, we get inner vision how to look at the situation first. And we also get understanding how to react to situations. For example, how do we get a reaction, understanding of reaction? Yes, I think I'm in authority. I must do the needful. That also you understand. And you also understand I'm not the authority. I should not do anything. I should just keep quiet. Both the understandings come when you are spiritually surcharged. And when you are spiritually weak, most of the times we make mistakes. But spiritually weak means we get overwhelmed by emotions, worldly emotions. Like Arjuna also was very overwhelmed, but he was spiritually surcharged by Krishna's mercy. So he was killing people, but that also he was living under Krishna's guidance. So they did most ghastly things, highly emotional activity, anger. But all their emotions were controlled and guided by Krishna himself. In our case, it's not true. We get guided by our own emotions. our selfish emotions, personal emotions. And that's why we make things complicated. At least for us, things become complicated. And we get further disturbed and more disturbed and more disturbed. I can tell you right now also, in my life, in our society's life, in ISKCON, in our nation, in our state, there are so many problems. At this moment also, everybody of you, not that you are only in a typical situation, we are not in that typical. Everybody in the world in its own typical situation of pain and unpleasantries.
कड़ी नहीं है, मंगोड़ी का सब्जी है.
But we don't respond. We wait for the guidance of the senior devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Is there any more questions anybody has?
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Pranam, Prabhu.
Hari
So
Bol.
thank you for your wonderful association. So my question is also similar, like how to develop the mood of the servant, you know, in every our ups and downs, and how to chant seriously and sincerely in our all difficulties. Sometimes it's very difficult to chant in difficult times. So how to develop this mood and chant?
Being servant of the servant is actually one way very simple. Just serve the devotees, that's all. Keep serving the devotees. Don't wait to decide whether he's a devotee or not devotee, whether I should serve him or not, do I have time or not. The servant of servant means always ready to serve. And then don't look for only senior devotees to serve. Or don't look for devotees who are friendly to you to serve. Or don't look for your choice of devotees to serve. You serve devotees without any discrimination. And keep serving. Don't do it when you are in good mood. And don't not do it when you are not in good mood. The servant means is always serving. Is not sometimes servant, sometimes master, sometimes servant, sometimes master. That person can't be servant of servant. A person can become dasanudas when always he feels I am subordinate to all the devotees. Even to the junior most devotees, I want to please them, I want to serve them, I want to treat them, I want to do whatever that pleases them. And how to develop, you said about chanting, right? The
and
typical
how
answer,
to chant seriously. How to
the
chant
typical
seriously in
answer
our
that I
ups
give
and
always
downs.
devotees is when there is no difficulties, you chant nicely. So that when though there are no difficulties and you chant nicely, you get good spiritual strength. And when difficulties come, you have good consciousness to tackle the difficulties, to respond, how to deal with the difficulties. Already you are strong enough. Like which person does good chivalry in war? One who practices his weapons when there is no war. Is so tuned and so expert in non-war situation. And when the war comes, it is natural for him immediately to use the weapons and win the war. But one who starts searching for weapons when the war starts, he just, where is it? In the first mezzanine, in the storehouse, where's the weapon? I don't know. Wife is asking, brother, did you see my gun? Did you see my sword? That means he's already telling you he's going to lose the war. He's not using the weapon, he's not practicing. He's not practiced enough. So when the war comes, he's 100% going to get wounded and lose the war. So don't wait for bad conditions to come to chant nicely. Always chant nicely. Always get up early in the morning. Or always chant the holy name attentively without distractions. Such a person, sometimes difficulties come and go and they are totally unaffected by them. And those who chant very poorly, small difficulty comes, they are very disturbed. And to such an extent they get disturbed that they disturb others also when they are disturbed. There's so much disturbance in their heart. They just bother everybody with their disturbance. But those who chant attentively and read the philosophy regularly, because when you read the scriptures, you get an discriminatory intelligence to deal with the situations. It become very sound in philosophy to understand how to deal with a particular situation. See, there may be a situation in your community, there may be a situation in your house, with your husband, with your wife, with your child, with your mother-in-law, with your father-in-law, with your neighbor, huh, who may be from Muslim community, or you may be from the plains and the neighbor may be from the mountains, and there is so much difference in culture, and you may have issue with them. The difficulties may be not always same. They may be very individualistic. They're very typical to you only. But you will get the intelligence from within when you are strong in Krishna consciousness. How to deal with it. And to become strong in Krishna consciousness means to chant nicely, and to hear nicely, and to serve nicely. So, if you ask this question again in next lecture also, the answer will be same. Please understand. Because last time also you had asked similar question to me. I will not fail to answer the question in the same way in the next 10 lectures also, because these things are fixed in my brain. I know that in my life also there were hundreds of difficulties right from beginning of my Krishna consciousness. And I have dealt with all those difficulties with chanting Hare Krishna and being absorbed in Krishna Lila. Many people ask me, yeah, how are you like this? I said, only secret is I am always hearing Krishna Lila. Whether there is misery, there is unhappiness, there is sorry condition, the happy condition, I am always hearing Gurudev and other acharyas describing Bhagavatam. Constantly I am hearing. It's always carrying with me, hearing them constantly, traveling, train, bus, aeroplane. I'm constantly hearing. There is no free time in between. Either I'm speaking or I'm hearing. One of the two things. Or I'm serving. So add up the same thing. Fill up your gaps in your life. There's a gap in the washroom when you are in washroom not hearing anything. Fill that up with hearing when you are in the washroom. When you are cooking, fill that gap by hearing when you are cooking. When you are washing clothes in washing machine, put the lecture on and do washing machine activity. Try this. You'll come to know, you'll get tremendous strength and you'll always remain blissful in spite of all difficulties around you. Try this. All of you try this. Hari Bol. Any other question?
Thank you so much, Roger. Thank you.
So thank you all of you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
If you have no questions, I will end the session.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have one question.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam.
Yes, Mataji.
My question is, what does it mean to live with compassion?
What does it mean to live with compassion?
Yeah.
Living with compassion means to serve the people who are in needy. If you come across any person in front of you who is having some difficulty and having some needs to solve the difficulty, and you feel that you can actually help the person to come out of the difficulty, you have the resource within you. You may have intelligence, or you may have money, or you may have some other resources, you may have some contacts. You have some resource to solve his difficulty. Then immediately you go and help that devotee or that person. He may not have to be devotee also. He may be a jiva in the material world. Compassionate means you don't hold your resources when someone needs them. What we do is, oh, if I use my resource and I'll be depleted of the resource. And when I need it, what will happen to me? So when you actually give your resource to somebody else, then Krishna will replenish your resource, because you are not being discriminatory, you are not being selfish. When you are selfish, then you hold your resource and you don't get any more benefit of that. But when you give away your resource for helping others, then Lord feels obliged to replenish your resource. So never not help anybody when you are in the position to help that person. And when you help somebody without discrimination, without being selfish, then whenever you need, Krishna sends help to you through devotees, through well-wishers, through friends. What we do is we are very selfish and very calculative. That if I use my resource, what will happen to me when I need it? If I give my money now, what will happen to me when I need money? That means there is lack of Krishna consciousness. We forget Krishna in between, that Krishna is in between available, is present in between. He is watching you. He is watching everybody. And he feels connected to you. He is there in our life. We forget our Krishna consciousness. That's why we don't serve others. We remain selfish. We remain observing. When difficulties are there, we keep observing them. We don't do anything. Okay? Very bold.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Anybody? Okay, my dear friends, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Rama, Hare Hare.
Anuradha, you have a question?
No, Prabhuji.
Thank you for coming every day in the morning to chant with us.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for allowing us.
Hare
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your association.
Bol. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very, very much. Hare Bol.